Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have James Tomich on the line, and he's Chief Operations Officer over at Endlas. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. How are you doing today?
Oh, man, all is well, and excited to get into today's topic. So we will be talking about your high-performance tools. But before we get into that, I like to start off our show with our Mission Matters question. So, James, we at Mission Matters amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. James, what mission matters to you?
Well, the mission in my life personally has been to melt things. I kind of have this pyrophoric interest. Maybe it stems from the blood and generations of metallurgists. I say I'm a seventh generation metallurgist, but really it's for a series of blacksmiths and metalworkers that ended up leading me into the career I'm in now. And really the mission is to make things better, more sustainable, survivable, and really decrease the burdens on the laborers. I grew up on a farm, changing tools on farm equipment, and really, in the end, having pieces last longer saves everybody hassle, time, and money.
That's awesome. And so, James, I guess let's just dive right into Endlas. So what prompted you and your business partners to start it?
Well, my business partners, Josh Hamill and Brett Trotter, and I ended up coming out of a university in South Dakota in the Black Hills called South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. We were working in a research lab developing laser material processing technologies, 3D printing metals, and surface coatings. And in that effort, we helped a couple big companies set up laser processing facilities in their manufacturing facilities in Wisconsin and in Virginia at the time. And we're developing the equipment as well as the process, and we're working as research scientists and laborers at the university, and realized there was an opportunity for us to turn this into something bigger. And if they're able to make those gains, we should be able to do that too in the Black Hills. So really, it was kind of this interest of, boy, we've helped other people do great. Let's do something great for ourselves.
Man, that's awesome. And I know, like, there's a lot of people listening that, you know, they may be working for other companies, or they're just graduating, who knows, and they're thinking about going on that entrepreneurial journey. I mean, what kind of things would you tell to that next group of entrepreneurs that have an idea, or that have that urge, like you and your business partners had, to start something and to do something? What kind of things would you tell them?
Well, there's a lot of different types of businesses out there. There's technologies, there's production, there's manufacturing, and really understanding what you are offering to the world is important. If you come in with this huge, wide range of approach, you'll never really settle down and find a target market to actually service. So really understanding what you're trying to do with your company and having an end game essentially at that founding beginning, because you are building something and you won't last forever. We all die. So how does it wrap up? those are important considerations as you start, and I think that's overlooked at times by new ventures, especially if you're passionate towards your company and what you do and you don't really ever see an end to it. Understanding that there is that need and understanding what you're actually servicing or selling is also important. The things we do are vast. We do a lot of automation and programming and machine design and building, but really what we're offering is extreme performance tools.
Man, that's great. So let's go further into tools. What are some of the impacts that you aim to make with Endlas and these high performance tools, like globally? Like, tell us a little bit more about the impact side of things.
I guess the term high performance tools. In the world of tools, some tools can last years, months, days, or hours. So really having an extreme performance gain on something, and if it lasts years and you're taking that to an extreme, let's say 3 to 5 times life, and it was originally lasting maybe 1.5 years, here's tools you put in 6 years when you just started the company, 6 years ago when we just started the company, still in trial. So really the performance gain comes down to the system, the maintenance burdens, and energy loss, and really recoverability, recyclability. So trying to take pieces that would otherwise be thrown in the scrap bin and maybe melted down and recycled, and being able to turn those into parts that are reusable or even extremely outperform the original product that it was. So really reducing, reusing, repairing, returning things to service, and getting that survivability out of these parts.
Oh, that's great. And so, you and your business partners have been on this journey for some time now. Like what's next for the company? Like, what are your plans for Endlas going forward?
Well, right now we have a production facility. It's kind of a one-stop shop with CNC machining and advanced laser processing, really 6-axis robots, ADD robots with high-powered German lasers that weld high-performance surfaces in multiple layers on complex surfaces. So getting that whole system set up, and it's really multiplying what we're doing now. So being able to do 100 tools a month to 200 tools a month to 400 tools a month, using kind of an expansion plan that really is focused on how do we reproduce these production cells at the lowest cost possible, so we actually can keep the price point where the value proposition really makes sense to the end users.
And what kind of industries are you servicing? Like what's your product market fit in terms of types of tools and industries that you're servicing?
Well, I mentioned that tool from 6 years ago that we put in the ground, let's say, because it's a digger tooth. And you have a digger tooth that usually lasts a year, and they're replacing them all the time because they have lots of them. But if the amount of time that those last really develops an interest for what market we're going after. So if we were to just go after those ground engaging tools that take forever to wear out in the first place, we won't get the feedback to actually understand where it is. So I went to the extreme other side where I find tools that maybe last hours, 2-3 hours, and that's in production manufacturing for automotive pieces, because that's where the guys are making thousands of parts a day. So those tools get beat up and become decrepit in anywhere from 2 to 10 hours, right? And it takes a while to disassemble the machines and replace these big tools inside there, and so there's some downtime for them. So if we can get their tools that last, let's go after the ones that only last for a couple hours, where they're replacing them 2 or 3 times a day. And let's get it so they can start a shift with a new set of tools, and then at shift change, they're changing out the tools, right? So
that I get it. And that makes total sense too. Like just cost savings and everything otherwise. I mean, because it's very measurable. And if you're doing, and if they're also, I mean, just as the overall business, so that you're having that big effect on people, on the businesses themselves. Like less downtime, like everything. I just think that there's a big financial case for it.
It's a win-win-win. And really, like I said, I come from generations of metallurgists, and my grandfather was a metallurgist. He did lots of things. And one of the pieces of advice that he gave to me is make it complicated. Well, don't make it complicated. Pray that it is complicated enough that other people can't easily understand or reproduce what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was blessed with that prayer, and things are very complicated on our side because it's complex surfaces, thermal gradients, heat treatment, metallurgy, super alloys, multiple layers, thermal deformation, monitoring, process diagnostics, and reporting, all in required. So that makes it so it's pretty expensive type of machines. Being that we develop and build our own machines, it's going to be really hard for a competitor to us to come in and actually compete at our price point because of the way that it's set up, right?
No, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, James, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today and really learning more about what you're doing at Endlas and to see that you're carrying on the family tradition. I mean, this is awesome. I love it, and I love that you're solving problems and being of value to your clients. And you're just definitely a mission-based company, a mission-based entrepreneur, again, carrying on the family legacy. So this has been great. If somebody's listening to this, James, and they want to learn more about Endlas and really just follow your journey and connect, I mean, what's the best way for our audience to do that?
Best way is probably directly at our website, Endlas, ENDLAS.com. You can kind of see our technology and what's going on. Specific applications with our customers, we tend to kind of keep on the backside. There are white papers and case studies that we can share specifically with customers, potential customers, but typically reach out to us. You can send an email to contact@endlas.com or fill out an interest form on our website. As far as really looking to see if we have the technology for your tool, that's really up to you. And if you're plagued with these downturns and big lead times or turnovers or even parts that are sourced out of the country and you can't get them at this time, or there's some supply logistics issues, sometimes an advanced manufacturing laser process can really save you time and money.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, James, for coming on the show. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener or viewer if you're watching us on the YouTube channel. And James, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Adam.